Mr. Acting Chairman, members of the committee, House Bill number 204 provides relative to the delivery of Medicaid-funded services for persons with disabilities, provides for definitions for delivery of individual and family support services, prohibits limitations on direct service worker hours in the delivery of certain services, provides with respect to Medicaid payments for services, provides for delivery of certain Medicaid waiver services and long-term personal care services, requires promulgation of rules, and provides for related matters.
Thank you. Thank you. Representative Turner, would you like to begin?
Mr. Chairman, committee members, look, I'm sitting here in between two very intelligent ladies, and I'm going to let them take over and explain this. This is a bill. Some of this information was brought to my attention, and we've been working on this for a while, but this is a bill close to my heart.
If you can take turn, one of you introduce yourselves, and we'll begin.
You want to go first?
Sure. Hi, committee members. I'm Caroline Meehan. I'm the executive director of the Community Provider Association. I think you all have the one-pager on this bill that Kelly handed out. So basically, House Bill 204 is meant to continue some program-related flexibilities and exceptions that were put in place for disability service programs because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what my organization, the Community Provider Association, has found, and sorry, Kelly, I didn't let you introduce yourself. Kelly Monroe from the Arc of Louisiana. Both of us together represent organizations who provide services to individuals with disabilities across the state. This includes people with intellectual and developmental disabilities as well as aging-related disabilities. The Department of Health put some program flexibilities in place last year, and what we've found through talking to people who receive these services, to their families, and to the organizations who provide the services, is that there are a number of these flexibilities that have been very helpful, that have helped people provide services and have also allowed people who receive services to receive them in the manner that they want to and that their families want to. So there are three specific exceptions we're trying to continue in the bill, and we have a number of amendments as well today. So that's the overview. Do y'all want to add anything?
No, just that,
Excuse me. I'm supposed to find out if we have a question for you, which we don't. So would you introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm Kelly Monroe with the Arc of Louisiana.
Thank you.
Just that we, surveyed families and providers and self-advocates to find out, of the exceptions and flexibilities that were given to us during COVID, which we were super grateful for, which ones of those would be helpful to move forward. The three that are listed on the one pager that you all have were the ones that over and over, even during listening sessions that were that the Department of Health put out. These were the three that people kept saying, these were so helpful. And just kind of want to also say that, a lot of these things were not in place before because of health and safety or just afraid of health and safety. But during this time, COVID and during the pandemic, there were no, what's the word I'm looking for? There were no more incident reports, incidences because of this, but was very helpful. The families felt safer not having as many people in their home. The individuals felt safer. The providers were having trouble keeping staff, and so it really helped everyone all the way around. We did meet with LDH. There are lists of amendments that Drew has for you guys that hopefully addressed some of the concerns that LDH has, and so that's all I got.
I'll introduce those amendments for you, Representative.
Thank you.
Drew, if you would read that in for us, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members, the set of amendments is coded 1320-1320 is the code in the top right-hand corner. It's a set of 5 amendments. The amendment set has been distributed and is available online. Amendment number 1 is a technical change to a section heading. Amendment number 2 reads as follows. On page 2, delete lines 26 and 27 in their entirety and insert in lieu thereof the following. In unforeseen situations when the scheduled direct service worker becomes unavailable or the service recipient is not comfortable with multiple people in his home, the department shall not limit the number of individual and family support service hours that a direct service worker may work in a 24-hour period, as long as the direct service worker is willing and able to work. Amendment number 3 on page 3. Delete lines 3 through 6 in their entirety and insert in lieu thereof the following. A1. No program which furnishes home and community-based services shall prohibit a family member from being a direct service worker for the service recipient in order to qualify for payment through the waiver or LTPCS program. Paragraph 2. A paid family caregiver who lives in the same setting as a service recipient may provide no more than 40 hours of Medicaid-funded services to the recipient in a work week. After 40 hours have been provided in a work week, the caregiver may provide additional units of Medicaid-funded services in that work week only in one or both of the following circumstances. A, when authorized by the service recipient support coordinator. B, due to an emergency. Paragraph 3, service recipients and their direct service workers shall take all measures necessary to achieve compliance with the 40-hour time limit established in this subsection. Amendment number 4 inserts and support coordination alongside case management. Amendment number 5 on page 4 at the end of line 3 insert the following sentence. The department shall share with the service recipient support coordination agency and provider agency documentation on synchronous interactions. And this concludes the extent of the amendments.
Thank you. And do I have any objection to those amendments? They will be added on. I will also remind the committee that there's a physical note here, and it will be on your in the computer if you're interested in looking at that. Representative, well, not yet. I'm sorry, Representative Turner. I've got cards, green cards here from people that would like to speak. Christy Paulson with the Regional ARC is here, would like to speak.
You stopped and you
Yeah, it sure did. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do I need to go? Are you good? No. I didn't know there was a note. I didn't see the note.
All right, if you would introduce yourself and
Good morning, and thank you so much. I apologize for my daughter and myself. We're a bit nervous, but we will try to read.
Don't worry, we're all nervous. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Christy Paulsell, and I'm from St. Tammany Parish, Covington, Louisiana. I'm mother, primary caregiver, and voice for a traumatic brain injury survivor. And yes, Representative Carter, I'm going to violate HIPAA as well. This is Sean Gilmore. She's from Emmett originally, and she has been our direct service worker since 2007. Same person. We're very blessed. We count them every day. I thank you for your time and your service towards our critical need in the disability community and the aging community. I have spoken and asked Louisiana representatives for years to address the critical caregiver needs for our special need population and our aging community, for which my household represents both. My family represents the family's or a parent's worst nightmare. On June 13th, 2005, my bright, bold, beautiful 19-year-old left home at 10 a.m. stating, "Mom, I'll be right back. I'm just going to say goodbye to Rachel, who's leaving for law school tomorrow. I love you." Her last audible words 16 years ago. After a motorcycle accident, Patricia Jolin, PJ, became fully interdicted to me by the state of Louisiana. Her official diagnosis is traumatic brain injury with quadriparesis. She has a brain shunt, is total paralysis on her right side, and requires 24/7 care with maximum assist of all activities of daily living, from eating, toiletry, getting out of bed, transferring, mobility, everything. The fatigue of caring for PJ, the stress of aging, required me to retire in 2013 after 30 years as a public servant in the St. Tammany Parish school system. In February 2013, PJ's care team rolled into a new adventure on our journey of recovery. 7 years after struggling with provider agencies for continuity of care and caregivers, and due to a 13-year-old rate, but I hear y'all are working on that as well. Our household became its own provider agency under the Medicaid self-direction option with a new opportunities waiver. As I mentioned previously, PJ was 19 when her near-fatal motorcycle accident occurred, and she continues to be my greatest teacher. Willful and witty, sensitive and strong, moody and mean, contemplative and loud. She'll go there for you in a minute. As her journey of recovery with traumatic brain injury continues, as she progresses through the various therapeutic options of PT and OT and hippotherapy and hydrotherapy and motion therapy and nutritional holistic therapies, the peaks and the valleys continue, but the one key essential item is her care team. Unfortunately, her mama bear is getting older, and mobility issues. I've had a total right hip replacement, and left one looks like it's next. And the stress levels of having increased as an employer, our dependency on qualified, caring, dependable, direct service workers becomes more evident. The past 8 years since being on self-direction as a provider agency has brought 18 PCAs into our lives. And our nightmare driveway interviews during the COVID crisis has been crazy. So we are down to 3 DSWs of providing 24-hour care. And with the trustworthy and trained care of these women in the late shift changes because of weather, sickness, kids programs, everything has happened. To limit them to just 16 hours is also placing my daughter at risk, and as a client, the risk for lacking of the consistency and training of capable and caring caregivers.
Ma'am, we're going to have to cut you off.
Sorry.
The nerves are over now. You don't have to worry about it.
4 points. Thank you.
Let's see. I've got other folks here that would like to speak. Jamie Duplessis from People First.
I'm sorry.
President would like to speak. Is Jamie here? Okay.
Do you want me to move this out, or do you want me to? I like toes.
It may be easier for her to go around and come to the mic.
And come to the mic.
And somebody help her.
I can just move right here. Hold up.
Can we move it? There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. Would you introduce yourself
Yes,
to the committee?
We need to be able to
Oh, hold up.
He's going to get it.
I'll wait until I start talking. Okay.
We're good?
No, not yet. There you go.
Don't start my timer yet.
All right. Introduce yourself, please.
Jamie Duplessis, self-advocate and People First coordinator. People First of Louisiana coordinator. I was injured in a car accident at the age of 15, had a spinal cord injury, and as you can imagine, at that time, I thought my life was over. Then I learned of all the many programs that they have throughout the state that has now provided me the opportunity to live on my own an independent and successful life. Definitely a life of quality, and I'm very grateful for that. I have, after several years of having some issues with provider agencies, have moved on to the self-direction program as well. I don't have any family supports because my parents are elderly and can't take care of me anymore. So I am basically in charge of my care. I hire all of my caregivers and all. Sometimes there's a bit of a turnover, a great turnover, and it gets tough. Sometimes the caregivers have to call in, and I don't have a whole lot of staff. So I have had to utilize the exceeding the 16-hour rule 2 times within the last 3 weeks, or I would have had to stay in my house alone, which is detrimental to me because they are, my caregivers to me are what your hands and feet are to you. And so these exceptions are only used in emergencies, but they're critical to someone like me and PJ. And PJ, I can get moody and mean sometimes too.
Thank you for that. The board's clear. We have another person wishing to speak. Lori Ansley. Lori.
Let's see if I can do this without rearranging my furniture.
Thank you, ma'am. I guess it's good afternoon. My name is Lori Ansley. I am the Director Administrator in our Region 2 office, Baton Rouge. Thank you for letting me speak today and being supportive of our services. And I am super nervous. I am here on behalf of the House Bill 204 and speaking on the benefits of the Appendix K exceptions and how it has benefited our clients and families that receive home and community-based services. I have several clients that are taking advantage of this exception, and they all have been very grateful because allowing their family members to work is keeping their entire household safe at this time, but it's also allowing the client to have a sense of normalcy within the home. Our clients that are nonverbal or have behaviors or social disorders or allowing their family members to work is minimizing the stress on them. I have several clients and families that are members of different blogs that have participants from other states in these that have also mentioned about moving out of the state of Louisiana because other states allow family members to work with their clients. Children's Choice clients, parents have expressed that this eases their mind having a family member work with them. Virtual teleconference meetings are another exception that we have had during COVID. And several clients insist that it's better for them scheduling-wise. We're having more participation in these meetings. Some of that is due to families being home already. They are not having to reschedule due to guardians' work schedules, and they're able to have them on various platforms via Zoom, FaceTime calls, Zoom calls. Our clients actually even get to participate in the Zoom and FaceTime calls where they typically do not get to have that technology access. They think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread. They participate in this and they get tickled pink seeing me on the other side of it. I have more interaction during these meetings. The virtual meetings are keeping the client and safe, but they're also having us come in the home virtually and making sure that everything is okay. I got some testimonies from one of my Community Choice elderly participants in Baton Rouge. She has made extra effort to stay safe and confined in her home unless necessary to go out in the community. She says she misses me coming out to see her, but she knows I have other clients I have to see, and she doesn't want me to spread whatever they have in their house back into hers. I have a row participant in Ventress, Louisiana. has stated that he enjoys his mother working with him because it keeps him safe, even though he has his vaccine and so has she, but he feels safe having his mom work with him. Children's Choice participant in Baton Rouge, her guardian stated that she is a member of a blog that Louisiana is one of very few states that does not allow family members to work.
All right. Thank you. I have a question from Representative Moore has a question.
Yes.
I don't have a question. I just want to say, Representative Turner, thank you for bringing this bill, and for those that came before us, thank you for sharing your stories. I'm just grateful that God has allowed you all to do what you're doing and the progress that you're making. At the appropriate time, I would like to ask us to move this favorable.
Thank you. It's not quite time yet.
Okay.
We do have another
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Ursula Brown is here and would like to speak. Introduce you. Just turn it around.
Okay. Oh, you can. Yeah, you can. Okay. They're tough.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms.
All right. I'd like to say good morning, Chairman and committee members.
Give us your name, please. Yes.
My name is Ursula Brown. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I graduated from Southern University in Rehabilitation Services. I too had an extensive background in the social services and never thought that I would have a child that would be developed with a disability. I'm here today to ask for your support of House Bill 204. My daughter, Tiara, is 18 years old and diagnosed with autism. Currently, I am not just a mother to her, but I am her advocate, as I belong to other positive support groups as well. And most of all, I'm her teacher, as she is attending school virtually. Most parents are having to provide care to their homes due to their child's special needs and complex medical conditions. During the COVID-19 pandemic, shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic began, I was notified by my provider, CARE, that Tiara's direct support worker would no longer be available to come into our home and provide support and care for Tiara. Thank you. It was at that point that CARE informed me that I would be able to become a paid family caregiver. With no other option, I signed up through CARE to become my daughter's direct support worker. Prior to COVID, working outside of the home was impossible due to the unique needs of Tiara that made me unable to maintain a regular 40-hour work job, working 40 hours a week. This caused financial hardships and placed stress and burdens on my family. The high level of anxiety that I and other parents of children with an intellectual developmental disability face is exhausting and has increased through the pandemic. Some families are struggling to maintain their employment while facing the unique and complex needs of children. As Tiara's direct support worker, I am able to provide her with additional meals, snacks, and other items necessary to her health and safety. While at home, I find ways to occupy and keep her interested, staying on task with her education, assisting her with family life skills, outdoor activities, which include community inclusion, and her activities of daily living as directed by her plan of care. The opportunity to be paid family caregivers should not end when the public health emergency ends. Several other states allow this. I have developed greater confidence in a unique bond while giving Tiara all the support she needs. It's a natural instinct.
I'm going to have to ask you to stop now. We're past. I gave you a little time because you took a time, and we all understand how passionate you are about this.
And I was on my last paragraph.
I tell you what, if you'll read it quickly, I'll listen.
Okay, thank you. It's all a natural instinct that includes important social skills. By supporting House Bill 204, making paid family caregivers a permanent option will not only add to my daughter's quality of life, but will also help stabilize an extremely depleted workforce, impacting individuals with disabilities and their families. My daughter's health and safety is my top priority, and even being fully vaccinated, I still have some hesitancy about allowing others in my home. Once more, I want to thank you again for your time and consideration of House Bill 204.
Thank you, ma'am. Representative Cox has a question.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I just want to applaud you for having to take on that role. And many people went through some difficult times this past time, and I want to applaud my distinguished, he's a great cook. You need to have him cook for y'all, guys. He can really cook. So I just, this seems to fit into the needs of the thing that we need to do. Mm-hmm. And so as a state, we've determined that, and I believe we will vote. And it's already been passed favorably, but I would have done the same as well. So I just wanted to tell you that, I got a family member that has a kid, and it's a very tough job. And now you become a teacher. I got grandkids at my home. We have to teach virtually. Oh my God.
Yes.
I'll be so glad when we can break them out and get them to the camp.
Yes.
But yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, so my hat's off to you, and I wanted to tell you that personally. I know your tears come to your eyes, but I imagine taking on that role and now being given the opportunity to do it. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Cox. And I will go ahead and start to complete this. These three are cards that are here, would provide information if requested. Patricia Wilton, Louisiana State Board of Medical. Julie Foster Hagan, the Louisiana Department of Health. Robin Wagner, Louisiana Department of Health. We have green cards here but do not want to speak. They are Sean Predoff is here with the Holy Angels Residential. Mary Beth Wilkerson with Alzheimer's Association. Bridget Wilson, Care International, or Incorporated, excuse me. Matthew Wallace, Easter Seals, Louisiana. Jacqueline Blaney from the Louisiana Supported Living. I'm not sure. She's here. I either need to take a reading class or get these typed up. I'm not sure, Representative Turner. You might have to help me on that. Katie Cochran, a parent. Brandy Melissa. Sharon Gomez, Greenever Life Services. Nick Albers, the Volunteer of America. Ashley McReynolds, ARC of Louisiana, and Kevin Hayes, CPA. All right. We have a move by Representative Moore to move this bill favorably with amendments. Do I have any we have a question? Well, hold up. Representative Warberdine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any objections to it, but let me see what LDH has about this. Any problems with this, real quick?
All right. Is LDH here? Yeah, I know they are.
Just real quick. We all right, Chris? Yeah. Okay. let me ask her a question.
Well, let her introduce herself, and we'll rock and roll.
Hi, Julie Foster Hagan, the Assistant Secretary for the Office for Citizens with Developmental Disabilities.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I heard some stories that some individuals are having difficulties with certain hours and so forth. I have an aunt that had special needs, and we had 24-hour care. It was vital. We have to have it. I wanted to ask the caregiver what was her average day, but they left too quickly. What are some? Do we have situations where they have 24 hours? Because I don't want them cutting services because people really need it. So, what are your issues, real quick, with that?
So we do have 4 home and community-based waivers for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. 3 of them are capped waivers. One of them, the New Opportunities waiver, is our most comprehensive waiver. So when someone needs that level of assistance, then they would move to that highest tier of our waiver in the New Opportunities waiver. And we do have a process where we work with our support coordinator, engage in planning, and when that need is identified, we have a process for approval so that folks can move into that New Opportunities waiver. And then once in that waiver, there's an assessment of the number of hours that they need to have there, and then they're approved.
Please, because what we don't want, the young lady who's a paraplegic and quadriplegic, I don't want them to be in a position where they don't have care 24 hours a day. As a young lady, she's scared at night. If nobody's there, something can happen, and we don't want that happening. So I favor this bill. Chris is a dear friend of mine. I want to make sure people who have special needs have the care. So whatever you can do with LTH, make it happen. Please make it happen. If you've got to do the paperwork to give them that next certification, please work with them because this is vital. I was saddened with the young lady who was in the wheelchair to say, "Hey, my parents have got to know they can't provide help for me, and if somebody's taken away from them, those hours are cut. I'm concerned about that." So work with Representative Turner. Let's make it happen. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for those minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Laverdane. And as I was saying, we have a motion by Representative Moore to move this bill forward. Are there objections? With amendments, are there objections? There are. Seeing none, Representative Turner, we will move House Bill 204 favorable with amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.